skating, and if you are a fan, I bet you've been looking forward to this first medal competition, the pairs. A third of the total point score is awarded for the original programs, and they are what we're going to see right now. Our commentators at the Olympic Ice Hall in Albertville are Chris Cuthbert, Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini.
Here were the surprise bronze medalists at last year's World Championships. 11th in 1990, but in 1991 they won the bronze. Natasha, Kuchiki, and Todd. They've had trouble this year, though. They had a disaster at Skate America and weren't much better at the U.S. Nationals, where they were in third place.
Well, last year it was almost as though they hit the podium before their time. It was a case of many of the top skaters didn't skate well. This team skated very well and made the podium, but I think that has put a lot of extra pressure on them this year, and it's been tough for them to live up to that.
This for Natasha and Todd is probably one of their prettier elements in the short program. It's the spiral sequence. It's one that's always a problem to choreograph, and they've taken a very simple approach to it, and it's very effective.
The lift they've chosen to do is the cartwheel lift. It might be classified as one of the easier lifts, but she has a nice position and an interesting exit. And here come the double axels. And Todd had a touchdown with his hand that will cost them. Rotation on their final element, the death spiral. Overall, not a bad performance, but it will be a small deduction on the double axles.
Well, according to the deduction sheet bar that the judges have to use in judging this event, a touchdown with your free hand would be about a 0.2 deduction, so they've lost that with that small error in Todd's jump. Here we're going to look at it. He just doesn't start to break out soon enough, and as a result bends at the waist and has to touch down to maintain his balance. Here's a look at their very first element, the combination pair spin. Unique position, and it's a challenge for all pair teams to come up with a spin that's interesting yet suits their body lines.
In a season where just about everything's gone wrong, that might have been their best program so far, but this is tight competition, and even that small mistake might be very costly. First set of marks, and they're very similar to that of Mino and Wedland. In fact, exactly the same. And the American judge at 5.0, and the rest at 4 9s.
Well, I think you're going to see, Chris, that the marks are going to stay fairly tight unless somebody comes out and does a very exceptional program, because the judges only have so many marks to work with, and they've got 18 teams here to judge today.
Natasha 15, Todd 28. They do have something in common. Both mothers are from Canada. Todd's mother from St. Catharines, Natasha's from Montreal.
And they were both born in the same hospital in California.
Second set of marks are not being posted, but we can see them in the stadium much higher than Mino and Wedland, up to 5 5s from the French judge, as well as Italy and the United teams, so they move into first place ahead of Mino and Wendland. So a pretty good effort by the bronze medalists at last year's World Championships. And here come Bechke and Petrov, leaders after the original in Lausanne, and since then they went to Medvedev to train. She spent some time with the coach of Alexei Urmanov, Mr. Mashim, to work on her jumping ability, although her coach, Tamara Moskvina, said actually he's just a psychologist. They're trying to get her head straight for this competition.
Opened with a nice double twist. And the second element, the double axels.
One of the things, one of the qualities about this team that makes them so nice to watch is their posture. Both of these skaters stand up very tall and have a very strong, commanding look about them when they're out there on the ice.
Well, in '89, this team was third in the world. In '91, they were fourth. So I think they're really looking to be on the podium. With this performance, I think it's possible. Their coach Tamara said this year she wanted to give them a much lighter style of program because Elena is so serious in competition. She thought that this might help her, and it looks like it has.
Well, if they can bottle that and take it to the long program, we might have a three-way race for gold. Bechke and Petrov. They are the last national champions of the Soviet Union, and look at those marks, 5.5 up to 5.7s, and Bechke and Petrov off to a great start here in the original program. 4 times again, they have led Mishkutёnok and Dmitriev after the original, but failed to beat them. Ironically, Brasseur and Eisler at the national championships did not win the original program either, so I think it's important to say here that as long as you're in the top 3 during the original program, you have a chance of winning as long as you win the long program. They're the second set of marks, and they're even higher. Those are a good standard for Brasseur and Eisler to chase.
A lot of ifs and buts and still a long way to go. The pairs figure skating continues after the break at the 16th Winter Olympic Games. Despite its graceful and genteel demeanour, international figure skating is not without its ugly moments, and most of those seem to involve the scoring system. What you and I and other spectators might see as a flawless performance, the judges sometimes see much differently. Then again, the judges are only human too. To tell us more, here's Vern Lindquist of CBS America.
Lurking behind these numbers are people with the power to choose champions. Their methods can be confusing and downright amusing. They are figure skating judges, and how they work is a mystery to most of us.
it is always going to have a certain element of subjectivity because we don't really have a clock or a final score such as you find in a basketball game or a baseball game.
Unlike umpires and referees in other sports, skating judges actually decide who wins, not just how the game is played. And with power like that, they're often the target of critics.
People are under the misconception that judges, many judges, are experts. It's completely false.
There is no such thing as a professional skating judge. They're all volunteers, and many were skaters themselves once. The best judges often have strong opinions and thick skins.
You have to be very sure of what you're doing, and you have to be able to defend what you have done. You cannot just say, oh, I like them. You have to say, I like them because boom, boom, boom.
What goes into a skating score involves factors that have little to do with what an audience sees on the ice. Skaters and coaches have learned to accept this fact, but to fans, it can seem strange and even comical. First, there is the pressure to conform, to award a score that is consistent with what the other judges award.
What makes me seethe and rage inside is that a judge will tell me, you know, what I really wanted to do was to put so-and-so ahead, but I was just too afraid. I just didn't do it.
A judge won't do it because he or she wants to move up the seniority ladder through the recommendation of review committees.
They can, as we say, zap you and say, this is a judge who doesn't know what they're doing. It is a system that is a check against judges just going off in left field. And it is a pressure on the judges to think, my Lord, you know, why did I see this so differently?
The judge is very conservative. He knows that if he gives a good marks to the top skater, he doesn't get suspended, but he might give him going outfield on a new skater.
So the judges play it safe, going with the established stars and giving more weight to reputation than to performance. Young skaters call it waiting your turn.
Skating is the only sport that you get the marks you deserve it the year after. You have to prove yourself with a good performance, get lousy mark. Then the year after they remember the year before performance. Doesn't matter if you skate that good, but you got the marks.
The greatest misconception is that probably that we're prejudging events. It's not true. You can't tell what a competitor's going to do until the actual point of performance. There's too many variables in performance.
But judges have a pretty good idea of what to expect, since they often attend practices to see what the skaters can do. And these impressions can affect the final score.
What I look at when I go to a practice is, there is Kristi Yamaguchi. How is she doing compared to the last time I saw her? And am I able to give a better mark this time?
This is something that we coach are upset about because they put pressure on all our skaters. If everything goes fine, it's wonderful, so the judge see you doing well and like that. But you have a moment that the pupil is in trouble and you really don't know what to do.
There is one element of scoring that everyone agrees has changed for the better. International politics. The old East versus West rivalry is no longer the factor it used to be.
The judges are afraid of national bias. They really are. Nobody wants to be told that they're untrustworthy, and that's what they're telling you.
Gone are the days where somebody, for whatever reason other than skating well, would win an Olympic title. You can't do it anymore.
So some things are improving, but scoring will always be subjective and controversial. By nature, figure skating is a blend of athletics and art, a contest in which the difference between the champion and the also-ran is often in the eyes of the beholders. And for better or worse, the decision of the judges is final.
It doesn't always fill you with confidence, waiting your turn, practice, judging at the practice sessions and going with the reputations. But nevertheless, we're going to see some great competition here. Well, there are probably millions of Canadians right now who are hoping that the judges are feeling generous because onto the ice at Albertville comes Canada's Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler for their original program in the pairs competition. Let's go back to the Olympic Ice Hall.
Well, here begins one of the big moments of these games. Since the age of 10, Isabelle Brasseur has listed her goal to win gold in 1992 at the Olympics for Lloyd. This is his third Olympic Games, and the Canadian fans are here in full force.
They have had a couple of problems on the double axels this week, but today they performed them just perfectly. They're opening with their humongous double twist, and the double axels will be second.
You weren't kidding.
No, bar none, that will be the biggest double twist we'll see out here tonight.
Oh, what a shame. I could see that on the takeoff. She just wasn't over top of her leg. Oh.
And this is one of the more unique combination pair spins you're going to see this evening. They had a bad fall on it at Canadians, but they're executing it just fine out here tonight.
Well, that's the thing with Lloyd and Isabelle. They're very unique in that spin that you just saw, and as well in their lifts. They have one of the most difficult lifts, the most difficult lift you'll see here tonight. Here's a look at their final lift.
Well, Barb, the look on her face tells the little story. She knows that that double axel was badly needed. They had to have that jump if they wanted to be considered in the top three. They now are going to have to wait and see how the balance of the field skates. Aside from the mistake, I thought the program was well skated, the audience enjoyed it, and they performed it.
Well, I thought the choice of music was great. It was a can-can, and it just lit this crowd up.
Isn't it ironic that she didn't have any trouble this morning? Here's a look at that great lift.
Look at that. He slaps his hand at his sides and then catches her.
The skater who had trouble with the double axel this morning was Mishkutёnok.
Well, it's an element that's most difficult for most pair teams. And she never got the weight transfer complete. She never brought the right side through to rotate around that right side. She rotated with her weight between her feet.
There are the first set of marks. The United team judged with a 5-2. The rest are higher, 5-5 from the German judge. And the Czech judge, Canada's Denis McFarland, with a 5.4, but they're clearly not happy with that, and I don't think they expected marks to be much higher.
You have to remember that Mishkutёnok also struggles with her double axel. There are a lot of pair teams here that will miss it. So it's not over yet.
Here are the presentation marks, much higher, and the crowd roaring their approval. 5-9 from the German judge, 5-8 from France, Czechoslovakia, United States, and Canada. 8-7 second place marks, 1 first place mark, that coming from Germany, and a third place mark from the Italian judge.
Yes, the Canadians, not happy, seem to be dwelling on that fall. Coming up, Australia's Danielle and Stephen Carr right after the break. Welcome back to the 16th Winter Games from France, where it's now Australia's turn in the figure skating spotlight. Danielle and Stephen Carr are getting ready to perform their original program in the pairs. But before we return to the Olympic ice hall for that, here's Michael Marr to tell us a little more about the brother and sister who hail from Illawong in New South Wales.
AMP, proudly bringing you Profile of an Olympian.
Before most other figure skating pairs had left their homes for Albertville, Danielle and Stephen Carr were firmly ensconced in the Savoie. It's the way brother and sister like it. No one to watch over them for their first hit out, except coach Belinda Trussell.
Because the first practices are always bad. So now the first practice, no one's here, no one's watching, I can do as many mistakes as I want, get them out of the way, and then get on with it.
You look pretty relaxed. You are giggling, which is a good sign, I think.
Very good. You'd hate to see her any other way.
If she's not giggling, you're in a lot of trouble.
Not pleasant at all.
I am so.
In a sport where excellence is seemingly on an escalator, and in a country where skaters are not fated in the same way as they are in Northern America or Europe, the Carrs have had to do it the hard way. Danielle, 22, and Stephen, 26, have been Australian senior champions 12 times, but struggled to make an impression on the international scene. But improved performances over the last 2 years means that now they're on the edge of the top 10.
All right, looks like there's lots of space there, and I can see you in this position too much. You're there too long. You're rotating, go for the landing. Does it feel like it's got time in the air?
Yeah, that's really good.
Figure skating has always demanded a large part of the Carrs' lives, but 18 months ago, Belinda Trussell got serious.
We embarked on a training program that was so complete that we're getting the best results that we possibly could for now for Olympics, and that meant really looking into what they eat and even when they eat, and the sort of gym work that they do that had to be more specific to figure skating, and also sort of the mental aspect, and I think that it's sort of all starting to pay off.
With the program put together by sports scientist John Marsden came the first off-ice weight training ever specifically designed for our skaters, and a diet largely based on water that's seen Danielle shed some 5 kilograms.
I gather that what's very good for you is that your partner has lost some weight. Can you tell me that?
I think it's really rude to say that.
Is it true?
Yeah, she's lost weight, yeah. Makes things easier.
From the work has come the rewards. 6 months ago, one of the sport's most difficult tasks, the axel, in Danielle's case, the double axel, seemed an impossibility.
It's really bothering me that I can't do it.
That's part of it. That's part of the fact that it's bothering you so much is the reason why you can't do it. You just have to let it happen.
And Danielle has let it happen. The double axel will be part of the pair's Olympic program.
It feels great now. It just feels like such a load off your mind. It's like nothing to worry about. You can just go out and do it. And it's so easy now. Like before it was so hard.
I'm really so proud of them. They are our only pair skaters at home. They come from a base of nothing to have achieved an elite world standard that other countries take for granted, and that they are performing very high skills that they make look easy, and because they look easy we all assume that they are easy, and to see them doing these really difficult elements that we've trained at home on our own with nobody is that's a really good buzz.
And while they may take a while to arrive at it, brother and sister both have the same goal.
Top 10. That's what I would like to do.
Between
we're
12
16th
and
last year,
13th,
so
and that'd be good.
Yeah.
I'd
We're
be
16th
happy.
last year, 14th in the short, 16th in the long. I'd like to be somewhere between 10 and 14th this year. That's what I'm
that
aiming
sounds
for.
good.
You can't help liking it. Bright as a button. All right, the moment of truth is here for Danielle and Stephen. So cross your fingers for them as we return now to the Albertville Ice and our commentators Chris Cuthbert, Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini.
Here they are, the Australian champions, and a warm welcome to our Australian viewers watching CBC's Olympic coverage. Danielle Carr, Stephen Carr, they've been the national champions since 1983 from Sydney, and they've also trained in Edmonton and under Kerry Leach, the coach of Huff and Ladray in Cambridge.
Well, this team has improved immensely over the last year. They've been all over the world to train with different pairs coaches that we've all heard of. Carrie Leach from Canada, Ron Ludington of the States, Rodnina of Russia, and Tamara Moskvina as well. And up until this November, Danielle has not been able to do a double axel. Well, before the NHK trophy, suddenly she was able to do it. And she's been very consistent with it this week. And here we'll see. Very nice.
That's a real accomplishment when you can get an element like that executed that you always had trouble with.
Danielle said that she feels that this is the best shape that she's ever been in going to an event, and the only time that she's really felt ready going into a competition.
Well, we remember them last year from Munich with a very, very bad fall that they had in the long program, such that we didn't think she was actually going to finish that program, but she toughed it out and saw it through to the end.
A little off on the unison on the spins there, but they're back on.
Here we see Danielle doing a back outside death spiral with a very unique arm and foot position.
That's a really tough position because it's tough to hold the arch and as well to hold the edge on the death spiral. Performance for them.
Well, Barb, I bet if we were to run down there right now and talk to them as they got off the ice, they would probably tell us that's the finest performance they have ever done in an arena and an event of this magnitude.
Well, their best finish was in '89 when they were 10th. Last year they were 16th, but I'm sure this will bring them into the top 10. Here's a look at those double axels. Look at her concentration up into the air. Just a beautiful jump.
Then here's a look at their back outside death spiral. And as you mentioned, Barb, most times, most girls have to keep that left foot across and in front of their body.
In order to hold the arch, but by holding the foot, it's very difficult to keep the arch.
And you can see they are thrilled, and isn't it something to be able to put in your best personal performance at Olympic Games? Probably not worthy of a medal, but we'll wait and see for the marks.
Well, Ron Ludington, actually, I was standing at a practice with him, and he had said to me, you know, I would have put bets on this girl that she would never do a double axel, and he said, I can't believe she's doing it.
Well, the crowd not happy with this first set of marks, and you can hear the way they respond. 4-6 from the Canadian and the American judges. The French judge has a 5.0, but that's the only one in the fives. And despite the double axels, Paul, you said at the outset that their program probably not in the same difficulty as some of the top-tiered skaters.
I did also notice a couple of areas where they weren't quite in unison with each other. In particular, the side-by-side spins. They went off and then came on and went off again.
Second set of marks greeted with the same response from the crowd, but you can see on their faces they're not too concerned. They've just skated one of their best programs, and they've done it on the world stage.
Thank you.
Danielle and Stephen Carr, well, the crowd absolutely loved them, even if the judges were a little bit indifferent, particularly that USA judge. More pairs figure skating after the break. Goldilocks in a gold medal winning performance. Olympic ice hall where a pair from the strong United team has come onto the ice.
Here's a quickly progressing team from Czechoslovakia, the national champions, who are described by their Russian rivals as very dangerous. Radka Kovaříková, she's 15 years of age. René Novotný competing like Lloyd Eisler in his 3rd Olympic Games with his 3rd different partner.
Well, this has really been a breakthrough year for this team. It seems as though everybody is talking about them. They're great in practice. They're lovely to watch. They have great choreography. It's a matter of just doing it when it counts.
And this is one team that Brasseur and Eisler must be wary of now.
Opening with the double twist and then on to the double axels next.
For a man of his size, I was somewhat disappointed with that twist. He should be able to take her and just pop her into the air.
Nice. Good unison on the spins.
Barb, it's so nice when you see a program that has a change of pace, and when you can accomplish that in an original program, which can only be 2 minutes and 40 seconds long and be successful, it makes for a really enjoyable performance.
What a great reaction from the crowd here for Radka Kovaříková and René Novotný of Czechoslovakia.
Well, it certainly was a great skate for them. He sometimes gets stiff and nervous out there, but he looked very relaxed tonight, and you can see by the smile on his face, he's delighted with that performance.
She's really come a long way in a year. Last year she seemed quite weak, and this year she's really gained some strength. And there was just a really refined quality about their skating.
And her confidence factor has also come a very long way. She was almost timid last year, but now she's really out there performing.
She looks so poised for a 15-year-old. He's 28. Look at those marks. First set up. 5 4s to 5 6s, and this will move them very close to Brasseur and Eisler. They were second at the Ligue competition right here on the Olympic ice surface, second at NHK, and I learned something about ordinal marking at the Europeans. 5 of the 9 judges preferred them to Shishkova and Naumov, but the other 4 judges had ordinals high enough that Shishkova and Naumov, the next skaters, actually won the bronze, and they had to settle for 4th place. And another fine set of marks for presentation, and they're right behind Brasseur and Eisler, now into 3rd place. So an apt description. They are very dangerous and will be in this pairs competition.
Yes, and it's hotting up there on the ice. More of the pairs later. This is Nine's Wide World of Sports at the 6th. After after that speed skating action, it's time to remind ourselves that speed is not everything on skates, and certainly not in the figure skating. More now from the original programs for the pairs, starting with the 5th place getters from the Munich World Championships last year.
Well, here are Evgenia Shishkova and Vladimir Naumov, the bronze medalists at the European Championships. Their original program in Munich was disastrous. They were 7th after the original. They finished 5th at last year's Worlds. And it always seems to be a bit of a struggle for them in the original program. The music, take 5, Dave Brubeck.
Again, in this case as well, the double axels will tell this story here. We're opening with the double twist, great height. I didn't think she was going to pull that off. She didn't get great height, but she managed to just get the leg through in time.
I'd really like to get excited about this team. They've got some nice features, some wonderful lines, but this particular choice of music, the jazz piece, it puts them in a situation where I would describe them as a one-speed team. They don't show anything moving any faster than any other element, and I'm not caught up in the program.
What I really like about this team are their attention to detail. The toes are always pointed, the legs always extended like no other team. And the unison is always perfectly on.
Evgenia Shishkova, Vladimir Naumov. And it's going to be interesting to see what the judges do with this. Remember, Brasseur and Eisler had a major problem. They remain in 2nd, but we've seen 2 clean programs in a row. And here are the marks, and it almost looks like the judges are protecting the Canadian champions, because those marks don't look like they'll be high enough to nudge ahead of Brasseur and Eisler.
Well, it's certainly appearing as though it's going to end up a topic of discussion. Isabelle and Herb missed the double axel. Both the Czech team and this team completed clean original programs, but find themselves trailing Brasseur and Eisler.
Looked like Vladimir said, what were we supposed to do? He kind of shrugged. He expected higher marks, and well, he's going to get them for the 2nd set, but the crowd responding too, because they have a 2nd place mark from the United team, a 3rd place mark from Germany, but the rest are 4ths and 5ths, and they are currently in 4th behind Brasseur and Eisler and Kovaříková and Novotný. So we've seen 2 relatively clean programs being placed behind the Canadians, much to the relief of Brasseur and Eisler.
Germany.
Here's the young German pair. Peggy Schwartz, 20 years of age, from Berlin, Alexander Koenig, in their 2nd Olympics, 7th in Calgary for the GDR. And again, they were the other couple to qualify for this Olympics at the European Championships.
Well, Well, they've been as high as 3rd in the world in 1987, but in 1990 they were 10th in the world, and I was speaking to their coach, Newt Schubert, and he said they were almost at the point where they were going to quit. They were so disappointed, but they're skating really well, and they're very happy that they stayed in. They've performed the double axels very consistently all week. Here they are. Nice. There was not even a hesitation at all going into those.
Now, Barb, she just executed the double twist and left her hands up. She never touched him. Would you say that's more difficult to do, or?
I would just say that it shows greater control in a team. They just had a problem there on the spin. It looks like they just lost their hand grip, and she had to put her foot down. There will be a definite deduction for that. But back to the double twist. When the female skater can lift her hands above her head in the air, it really shows great control throughout the twist. Good unison on the spins.
As strongly as they've performed this program, they, like Shishkova Naumov, chose to do a blues jazz piece. Again, I never felt that they got going out there. I want to see some excitement, I want to see some speed, and I didn't feel as though it came across in this performance.
Well, they did perform all of the elements, except there will be a minor deduction, probably a 0.1 or 0.2 deduction for the touchdown in the combination spin.
I was going to say, Barb, a lot of sweaty palms in this rink, and it may have cost them a problem.
Well, here we're looking at the side-by-side double axels, and as you commented, Barb, they just step right into those, no problem, full of confidence. There's the slip, and you're right, it looks like they just lost grip, fingertip slip.
They just missed hands.
I noticed Lloyd Eisler uses stickum like the wide receivers in football. Do you do that, Paul, to make sure you can keep your hands on Barb?
I was never a big fan of it, but a lot of guys do use it because, as you mentioned, Chris, you get out there, you start perspiring, your hands get slippery, and I think it just cost them maybe 0.1 or 0.2 out there tonight.
This is a team that tends to practice very well, but doesn't come through in the performance. But tonight I had to say that they really skated well, except for that one minor error.
Germany.
Crowd reacting as the first set of marks is posted, and they will not be among the leaders here.
I think these marks are reflecting the fact that this particular team, although they executed all the elements, didn't do so with a lot of speed and a lot of confidence. It just seemed that they cautiously went about their business, got the elements executed. But I think the judges at this event are looking for more than that.
And while there is a variance in the marks, most of the judges appear to be having them slotted in the 6th place position here. Oh, wait, there's the presentation marks. Germany has them 4th, but they're up to 7th place from France and Austria. Overall, Schwartz and Koenig are in 6th place.
Thank you.
Natalia Mishkutenok, Artur
Artur Dmitriev, équipe unifiée.
Unified team.
Here they are, the defending world champions taking center stage at the Olympic Ice Hall, Nataliya Mishkutёnok and Artur Dmitriev. And remember, when they won the World Championship last year, they did not win the original program. In fact, rarely do they ever, although this original program is scintillating when skated at its best.
Well, it is perhaps one of the most sophisticated original programs in this competition.
But again, they will need to perform those double axels. Natalia has had problems with them this week and as well at the Europeans. The next element. And she pulled it off.
Nicely, I might add.
Now this is probably the best set of footwork we're going to see. Very difficult. Now the last two elements have really displayed Natalia's incredible flexibility. Just take a look at this spin.
An outstanding performance, and having watched this team over the past couple of years, I put them in the same kind of league as Kurt Browning. This is a money skating team. When things are on the line, they come through.
They're the first set of marks for Mishkutёnok and Dmitriev, 5-9 from the Italian judge. And I don't think we can be surprised with those presentation marks. You would expect would be just as high, and these should be first place marks. What a difference 2 weeks has made. They did not look in shape, at least she didn't in Lausanne, but they went to Megève for 2 weeks, came here quite satisfied with their training, and they are poised. Tamara Moskvina beaming her coach, and here are the second set, 5-8 from the Canadian judge. First place marks right across the board for the defending world champions. Bechke and Petrov dropped to second. Brasseur and Eisler are now third, and there is Lloyd. Lloyd looking on, Isabelle there as well, as they see now they are in third place. And again, they must maintain top 3 position to be in striking range for gold in the long program. Here are the new American champions, and what a story they are. The waitress and the trucker, blue-collar success story of perseverance. Kala Urbanski of Chicago and Rocky Marvell of New Egypt, New Jersey. She's had 6 partners, he's had 3, but since getting together in September of 1990, everything's gone their way.
Well, this is a really fun team to watch. They always seem to be right on the edge And they've been practicing really well all week. Watch this twist. He slaps his hands at his side. She has so much height. Nice. Now the double axel is the next move. Hers really scares me, and in fact at the Nationals, she fell and hit the boards.
Well, she has a most unorthodox technique. Watch her carefully.
He missed it.
And I think she may have two-footed as well, Barb. I was watching her closely. And now the unison's slipping a little bit on this side-by-side spin.
They've had problem with these spins all week long, actually.
I certainly think that those mistakes are going to cost them some marks here, and a top 5 finish is going to be difficult for them.
Calla at 31 is the oldest national champion in the United States in 50 years. Large American contingent here, and the reaction. And look at the difference in marks. The Czech judge, 4.9. The German judge at 5.6.
I don't understand that one at all. They missed 2 elements, 2 complete elements.
Their coach is Ron Ludington, who was an Olympic bronze medalist here.
Also coached Kitty and Peter Crothers, the silver medalists in 1984 in this same event.
And Brasseur and Eisler continue to stay in the top 3. Presentation marks much better, but not good enough. They've got a 5th place mark from the German judge, but the rest are higher than that. They're rated 8th by the Czech and by the British judge. So right now, Urbanski and Marvel in 7th place overall.
And the original program accounts for a third of the score. 2 days' time, we're going to see the free program. In the meantime, Mishkutёnok and Dmitriev, the unified team, along with fellow countrymen Bechke and Petrov, they lead from Brasseur and Eisler from Canada, Kovaříková from Novotný from Czechoslovakia, whilst the Australians Danielle and Stephen Carr are placed 13th right now.